Welcome back again to the GG.Bet Ice Challenge in London. We're on the final day, which means we've got more elimination matches, the lower bracket final, and coming a long way into that, it's Na'Vi. Bit of a struggle so far in this event going up against Heroic, who's been pretty impressive. Chance to maybe even go back up against North. I'm actually going to start with Freiburg for that reason, because you guys get to play off against Na'Vi. That means you'll have played everyone in this event now. You'll have played the hard way, as the banter was yesterday with Mertz. Is this a chance for you guys to actually prove yourself with this new roster? How's it going? Because it's been pretty on and off, but pretty impressive, I think, so far.
For sure. I mean, I think that's kind of put a good name on it. We have only been a team for a couple of weeks. We haven't had too much of practice, so this is a tournament where we come and we do our best, but we obviously feel we need to practice more. But like the more games we have against teams like Na'Vi and North and stuff like that, it's just going to make us improve even more, so it's good for us.
How do you feel about the whole rebranding thing? Because obviously Heroic left the Refresh organization. There's new rules in place about representation from multiple organizations in one league. That's, I think, part of it, if I were to say. And then obviously you guys are under new ownership and a whole new look. Does it feel comfortable? Does it feel, I mean, you played on NIP, you played on top Optic for a period of time, top organizations. How does it feel within the team right now?
It feels good. I mean, after leaving Refresh, it was really exciting for all of us. Like, we weren't the B team to Astralis anymore. So now we could just focus on ourselves, and the new management and everything has been awesome so far. So we're just excited to keep on playing and have some good results in the future.
I like that, the B team to Astralis. Read into that what you will. Flamey, not the best event. I got to be honest about it. How do you guys feel? Last night, I think there was a bit of banter between you. I won't even call it banter. There was a bit of bickering, a bit of arguing, I think, after the games. You scraped through that one yesterday. You've got a major coming up. What's the focus today?
I think the focus will be on our team play, because it's been really bad, and we'll almost win rounds only by individual game. So the key to win is communication and a good team play, so we need to focus on it.
About that, because it looks like the mid-round issues tend to be there. Is there any overcalling right now, or is Zeus still really demanding and being, you know, the leader throughout? Because it looks like at times there's not a lot of talking from anyone.
I think it's we're doing some I don't know, we are doing some stupid mistakes that we shouldn't do, and we don't do it usually, so it's not like someone not calling, but it's like everyone is calling too much, you know? It's too many ideas, and we're not choosing the best ones.
Yeah, I think it's kind of evident in seeing the communication between you two. Like you say, a chance to prove yourself. You get to go against Simple, you're sitting straight across from him. I think you're already, yeah, there he is. You're already bantering with him. He's saying no problem. You guys going to stand up, get into it? I think you said Blame F wants to actually fight Zeus in the octagon later.
That would be a show, wouldn't it?
I'm down. I think the show match should just be those guys fighting at the end.
Yeah, that would be something. Well, we're in the octagon, right?
I like it. I like it. Who do you think would win? Zeus is starting to look a little soft, in my opinion.
I think Blame will win if they meet each other. Zeus has no chance.
He's a pretty big guy, I'm not going to lie. Look, he's sitting there all humble right now, but look, I mean, he could play on the England rugby team right now. He's a massive dude. He's jacked. Guys, honestly, though, getting into this, maps, best of 3, we've seen all 7 maps in this event between 4 teams, which is pretty impressive. Do you guys plan on taking this straight up 2-0, no chance for Freiburg?
We will see. I won't say anything.
I like it. That way he's not accountable when you guys win, right?
Yeah. 2-0 for us. Come at me, bruh.
I like it. All right, well, Freiburg said it. These guys look a little more awake this morning. Oh, okay.
We're gonna destroy them. Trust me now, guys. Trust.
I mean, you said that yesterday.
I didn't say that yesterday. I mean, I said it because they asked me to say this, but not now.
It's true, I didn't ask him that time. Simple just jumping in with it. This is good. This is a little better. Mertz yesterday, by the way. I even told you, Mertz, that we were going to do a banter section. I even got like Gade in there, and then they were just super polite to each other. I think Swedes are a little more rude, but I like it.
It's only because you told me to. Like, Swedes, we're the Canadians of Europe, right? You're Canadian, so.
Not as good at hockey, though.
We'll see about that.
Rasmus Dahlin looks all right. I will give you that one. And you have been winning in the juniors, which usually is a sign. Let's not talk about it, okay? Yeah. Finland's better than both of us right now. Kind of sucks for that. What about you? Do you know anything about hockey, Flamey?
I only bet. I don't like hockey.
Do you bet on GG.Bet?
Of course.
Of course. Well, I like it. The odds coming into this one probably still going to favor Na'Vi. We're going to get it underway anytime. I think this is going to be probably one of the more exciting matches just because we're going to see such a different play style from you guys going against them for the first time. You guys have a lot to address from yesterday. I do want to ask a little bit about you and Electronic because slow starting again, but on Dust 2, normally not a map we see Na'Vi go to lately. Do you guys think that you can bring it into the pool? Because it seems like you and Electronic are a lot more comfortable. Is there something to build on in that? I think you guys could add it to your pool potentially.
I think we already did that, so it's in our pool.
All right, strats for the major.
Yeah. I won't say our strats for major.
Won't be Nuke. It won't be Nuke. It might be Dust 2. All right, with that, we're going to get into it. Casters are ready. You guys are kind of ready. I think you were logging in last we were over there. It's going to be Trace, and it's going to be Henry to bring us game 1.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Trivet. Now, I really think the ballot card here that we kind of need to talk about is the undercard. We do have Asilian and Electronic, which I do think them in the Octagon would also be a very entertaining fight of sorts.
The little weights coming in.
Yeah, there's some weight behind them, guys. They can probably get in there.
Yeah, the little scrap is just to build up the main attraction. We'll see what happens.
Show them the Eagles, Henry. Welcome to the GG.Bet Ice Challenge. 50K on the line, and today we're going to be crowning a winner. We got 2 best of 3s, and one of those is sending the team home, and one of those is sending a team on into that grand final. And yes, it's true, his name is Henry. My middle name is also Henry, but that does have no bearing here.
Or relevancy, yeah. So we'll be focusing on the bands coming in. You can see the picks, and it's a little bit of a confusing graphic. I can see Train to be played first, then we've got Mirage second, I assume Inferno first. There it is, right in the middle. The cider map will be Inferno. Train to kick things off. We did see Heroic already play Train against North and fall at the final hurdle. They actually had a pretty competitive side, though. Remember, as Freiberg said coming into this one, this team's only been a squad together, 2 weeks, and they've done a great job. They've already actually beat Na'Vi in the opening game 2-1. With Train coming in, though, I felt like Na'Vi have maybe played the Veto a little bit better this time and actually played some maps that are their strength. They floated Cash, actually, in the Veto process, and Heroic didn't really have the minerals to play it. They didn't want to go for it.
There might be a talking point around that first matchup between these two teams because honestly, if you look at Na'Vi, obviously you think, okay, well, these guys are going to come in here and they should wreck house. But after what we saw yesterday, I mean, there's a serious chance that that wasn't just a slow start.
Sure. There's obviously some issues there. Flamey touched on it a little bit. Obviously, didn't want to go into too much detail, but there are some issues they definitely are aware of. I don't think any top team will say that their performance so far has been on par with what we expect or what they expect or what they want to achieve. It's a little bit worrying before the major, but hopefully we see it all come together today. Like, they're one of the teams, like, they are one of the world's best. They're having a bit of a slump right now, but they know what they need to do to recover. It is very basic problems that are fixable. It's not like they need a complete rework of the strat book. They just need to work on their fundamentals of communication. And as he alluded to, the fact that people are getting overcalled and there's too many cooks in the kitchen, perhaps. We'll see whether that all works out going forward. I feel like they're obviously going to be the heavy favorites going into this one. Just because Heroic have beat them already doesn't necessarily mean that's going to have any bearing going forward. I feel like Na'Vi are a different team almost every single day. I hope we get to see them lights out and show us what they're capable of.
Now, the Simple that just walked past us right now, a well-energized, well-rested, a Simple that is ready to get out here and make it complicated for these guys, I think is the best way to look at it. And perhaps if they can not start slow here, it's going to say a lot in terms of maybe they don't start a map down to start a series off for a change.
That would be nice. Like, it's getting a little bit tiring, isn't it, to keep saying, oh, Na'Vi are slow starters. It's not really going to be a good enough, not really excuse, but just a statement to say, like, why is that? Well, what keeps happening? Like, there's no other teams that keep saying, well, we always lose the first map. You need to really kind of sort that out, especially at this sort of tournament when we expected them to cruise through the entire bracket, potentially without dropping a map, and they lose the opening series. They find themselves at almost relegation point. They were lower bracket there. They almost lost. Had to come back 5 rounds at 15-10 deficit just to stay in the tournament. They did it. They're tenacious. They got through. That's all they had to do. They can win this tournament. And if they do, I feel like they'll be able to bounce back from this one. But if they crash out and don't even make it to the final, I feel like there will be some serious conversations that need to be had before the major in a couple of weeks.
I mean, specifically talking about the major, these guys are here in London boot camping. They've been here, I believe, since the 4th. This sounds about right, or 2nd, something like that. They have been here training up and getting ready for that major, and obviously obviously the GG.Bet Ice Challenge. So are we seeing the fruits of that labor now, or is it seriously we're saving strats for the major?
It depends. I feel like even if you were, quote-unquote, saving strats, even with your most basic playbook, Na'Vi, pound for pound, should be still running away with this one. They are the heavy favorites of this tournament. They want to show themselves to be the best, and they want convincing victories. They don't want to squeak through an overtime. They want to show that they are a dominant force, and they're ready to get this 5-man unit to the next level and shows what they're capable of. It's a matter of time. We saw yesterday after that game finished, they weren't happy with that victory, and that's rightly so. They need to be performing better than that. AVANGAR is a team they should be blowing out the water, and same goes for Heroic. Just to the storyline, yes, Heroic have got great players, great talent within there, but on paper, Na'Vi's a top 3 team in the world. They should be aiming to actually get a 2-0 here and a convincing one. We haven't really seen them have a real dominant performance as of yet.
Well, you want to talk about conviction, and we might see just that here on Train, the first map of this series, the best of 3, might I remind you. The winner of this will be going on into the grand finals, and we're going to be deciding sides here with the knife round, a coveted part of this game itself.
It is a big part, especially on Train. If you're the underdog, like Heroic are, getting a CT start on a map like Train is actually very influential. It's a nice little advantage just to get everyone hyped up at the start. You'll hear some cheering if Heroic win it, especially. Maybe Na'Vi a little bit more subdued in that respect, but Heroic know they need to get everyone fired up here. They've had some great performances from the likes of Estag. Mertz is looking like he's playing career best CS right now. Freiberg actually playing really nice, classic game of CS. Like, he's not doing anything too flashy, but he's great at getting a couple of kills and holding bomb sites and making sure he makes the round possible to win. Not going for his individual stats, just making sure he helps his teammates out and is playing calculated Counter-Strike, which I really enjoyed from him. He's a veteran. He realizes his role in the team as his career has developed. He's no longer the star, the big entry fragger. He's actually just doing the heavy lifting where it has to be done, the less glamorous roles.
And you're going to talk about flashy with Freiberg. I mean, the flashiness we saw yesterday would have been the indication that North was choking there, in which it all kind of came apart, didn't it? Kind of came apart at the seams. And for them, they did not find success.
Remember, Freiberg comes from the school of CS Source, and that's what we used to do best.
I don't love that.
You don't love that, but one thing we did do correctly in Source was the banter and the rivalries. We were very good at that. We used to play in these sort of finals all the time, like head-to-head like that. I played against Freiberg in a few games myself, and that was always a fun part of it. And hopefully he brings some of that today.
No relevancy there, of course, to that, but obviously,
there is relevancy. We're talking about the head-to-head octagon environment, how Freiberg will get into it.
I have yet to see players stand up, though. That is one thing I want to see right now, is players standing up, getting animated against their opponents right in front of them. You have all the weapons here for psychological warfare against your opponent, and I don't feel that's being utilized to the degree that it should be. But we do have that knife round done and dusted, and I think we're going to be getting underway here shortly. If you're just joining us, welcome. GG.Bet Ice Challenge. Today is the final day, the 3rd day, here live in London at the Ice Expo. I like London, Henry. I haven't been here but a few times.
Yeah, you see much of it in the East London Docklands, doing nothing in the hotel.
Hanging out in the Docklands, just kind of looking at the walls. It's not a whole lot to see.
Not the most glamorous part of London, but we certainly put on some good conferences here in this Excel Centre, I'll say that. Great stuff. But looks like Na'Vi getting ready to go. I didn't quite catch who started on the CT side. I think it is Heroic by the looks of things. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, they had a bit of a disastrous veto process throughout this tournament. A couple of blunders there. I feel like this one's under control. We've seen them play Train a couple of times already. We'll see whether this is going to be fruitful for them. Let's talk about the main roles here on Train. Obviously, the sniper is a huge talking point.
Yes.
On the Heroic side, they definitely have all potential there. Mertz is proving himself to be a fantastic player as he develops and he gets more confidence. And it seems like this is a team that believes in him. I feel like when he was in North, he felt like there was a lot of pressure to prove himself around more experienced veterans, and now it feels like Heroic is like more of like a family vibe. They're kind of like all in there together, and it looks like he can actually play his own role without feeling like he's going to get scrutinized. Perhaps it looks like he's much more relaxed in this team.
Now, one thing we kind of talked about yesterday was the fact that Heroic is trying to find that identity, and I don't mean the fact that they've gone through this rebranding process. Of course, that is part of it, but they definitely are trying to find an identity within the space again. I mean, this isn't a team that we see at the very prominence of CSGO. And in this regard, this should be a tournament where they can come in here and do that, albeit 4 teams and albeit all the downfalls and shortcomings of this team. You have to start turning it around at some point.
We'll see. It's one of the main things that plagues CS is when you're in a team and you're in a slum trying to work out what the problems are. How do you go forward? What are the main issues there? Are you focusing on the right things? Is it you? Were the other team just having a good day? Were you having an off one? Is it your map pool? Is it the strategies? Is it the way you're calling? There's so many layers of Counter-Strike to consider, and you have to use your time as in the most effective way possible, especially you've got big tournaments coming up. We talked about Na'Vi and the Major and stuff, and they know what they have to do to grind this one out. I don't think their problems are as worrying as we maybe painted, because all they have to do is rework on the basic fundamentals and make sure their trading's better, and then maybe get a few more executions in there.
And maybe, just maybe, this is the time. It looks like we're about ready to get this pistol round underway, Henry, and then the GG.Bet odds right there in front of you. Perhaps you're watching at home. Heroic versus Natus Vincere, live and uncut here from the ICE Expo in London. And it's going to be a pistol round. Starting on the CT side will be Heroic. Take it away, Henry.
Well, here we go. Na'Vi, T side, couple of smokes, Molotovs available. S-Tag does spot Edward having a little slide down the ladder there. This looks likely to be an inside play, but anything can happen at this point. The two smokes suggest it could be an outside execution with smokes either side of the bomb site, but you could also smoke down lower ramp, Molotov connector, save a smoke for post plant. We'll see which way they're inclined. There is no defuse kit available for Heroic, and this is a very passive setup from both teams. They explore towards Pop Dog at the very beginning, and now Na'Vi are just waiting for any sort of telltale signs. Is there anything indicative of what the CTs have planned here? As you can see them right back in T-spawn. Glock not knowing if his range, not really going for a kill there. He's just seeing if players hunt for information.
Yeah, I mean, right now, just waiting it out, seeing what their best avenue of approach is here on either side of the map. And they're not too postured there towards that inside of the map. But yes, if you can hear that, the venue is opening.
The crowd's on their way to the Octagon.
Crowds are actually rushing the Octagon right now, sort of like that of Na'Vi, trying to find out where their rush is going to be calculated towards. Looks like they might have favored going down that ladder, but for the time being, they're going to go ahead and back off just a little bit, spreading it out. Simple finding the first frag of the day there on the S-Tag. With the Glock, you love to see it.
Now, Na'Vi have had some problems in this tournament, Trace, of running out of time and not getting the bomb down. This is still okay, and those are two smokes I described before. Either side of that bomb site, going to try and get a quick plant down here, but Blame F, the perfect idea here. The boost up, and you've got to try and deny this plant now. It looks like it'll be successful. Zeus will just about get it down there, and Na'Vi maintain the advantage.
Yes, the bomb has been planted, and of course, in this moment, it's going to be Mert, Sicilian, and Blame F to try to get in there and retake this site against 4 members of Natus Vincere. We're going to see 2 of them playing there towards the connector, and this could prove to be fatal, and it does just that. Zeus falls to the hands of Vasilian, and now we're in a 3v3. Spread out just about right. They do have that player and ladder there to defend from the diffuser on the side of Na'Vi, but the scrim is going on live there at Ivy, and Blame and Mertz making it all too much a reality. Electronic, though, not out of the fight, finding one of the Mertz, finding one of the Blame, and finishing off Vasilian. You'll love to see it right there on the last lifeline. He does find all 3 frags and put this round in the books for Na'Vi.
Excellent work by him, and the problem for Heroic there, they didn't have the kit. The bomb had been ticking for some time. Had they had the defuse kit, they could have gone for a fake tap of it, had both players turreting towards the Pop Dog position, taking him down together. But the fact they had the 10-second defuse, one of them had to fully commit and hope the teammate could deliver the shot. As soon as the diffuser goes down, the round was over, and Electronic runs away with it. Na'Vi, slow-based gameplay there from the beginning, waiting for mistakes. They got the Ivy push. That was the opening frag, as you pointed out, and that's why they're so patient. They knew Heroic maybe a little bit impatient at that point. We'll see what happens as the force spike comes through with S-Tag and Blame F on the scouts here, a few deagles and an outside stack, not a single player towards that inside bomb site.
Yeah, and as soon as Na'Vi figures this out, they're just going to barrel out onto this inner site. The quickest rotation would be from Blame F with that scout and connector, but even then, I don't believe it would be nearly fast enough. And the one thing we can even kind of touch on from the last round would be the fact that, yes, Electronic won that, but you can't always rest on the fact that he will get 3 kills at the end of the round. So that one could have got a little more dicey than it appears, and in this round, it's going to be a full-on inner hit, and they're going to be taking this bomb site with relative ease.
You don't want to be going for this if you're the CTs now. You just want to save your weapons. You don't want to touch this. You don't want to be near it. You don't want to go for exit kills. You actually want to save everything you've got. And we've seen a lot more of this recently in CS, where they've realized, sure, we could maybe steal some guns away, but if they actually take the full save here, now they can actually maybe add onto what they already have. They've got scouts, they can maybe get some grenades, they might have a decent chance of winning the next round. They might as well do that instead of throwing money and weaponry away that can be useful. They took a bit of a gamble stack. Heroic have been doing that all tournament, and Vasilian steals away a kill. Mertz will join in as well. This is actually going quite well for them. Oh! Mertz!
Outstanding.
That was absolutely brilliant by him. What a fantastic shot with that Desert Eagle. And that's going to rattle the cage in Na'Vi, and they've managed to farm a little bit of cash here. 2 kills from Mertz. We'll get a UMP now instead of the Deagle. So he could drop the Deagle for Freiburg. He could actually buy himself an M4 if he really wanted to go for this one. I would say a tactical pause might be required just to discuss their options here, because that was a very important situation. They get 3 kills. They say 4 weapons there. Do they really want to go for it? Maybe this is where Peacemaker needs to get involved and just discuss their options and how frugal they want to be with their cash. Do they actually inject it all now into this round and go for broke, or go for the more conservative approach here and make sure they have everything they need in that first gun round? Let's have a look. They went for that one. So they're going to keep the weapons they had, but keep the money at a reasonable level, which is absolutely fine. We normally say the underdogs need to be doing that because they're relying more on strategies and their star players with all their equipment to actually carry them through rounds.
Yeah, and I mean, for what it's worth, that round didn't go in the way of Heroic. However, it was a very, very successful round in other ways. And so I guess looking forward into this round, yes, they're going to have to do that whole discussion. They had to have bought up a little bit here, didn't want to go in all the way, because they do know that even though Na'Vi did, in fact, lose some weaponry, they have absolutely no problem putting some more back in their hands, as well as the opening frags of the round. Freiburg and S-Tag going to go ahead and fall off out of the picture in this equation. And we're going to see now as Flamey tries to find some openings here in this outside site. He's going to run into Mertz and Asilian any second now. So tries to work his way out there towards that inside bomb site. Flamey finding the 1D onto Mertz. Smooth and cool-like. But Asilian's going to be waiting there, taking the best of him.
There we go. It's going to be a confirmed round at this point, even more so now with Blame F going down. Na'Vi, a cleaner one this time, could be 4 AKs up, just the one player, I think, with the Deagle that went down. So nothing really given away at that point. Does allow them to bring out the AWP in that first round if they so require. We will see as we get into it going forward. It is going to be now the first proper gun round. Mertz should have his AWP. We know he has really been enjoying these aggressive pushes, and like you saw, he's got that nice flicky play style you want to see from these great AWPers. It's actually quite reliable with Mertz, it seems. I actually love watching him, and now we'll see this aggressive style come into fruition with the lower pick here. Shotgun style AWPing, trying to get the first kill. It can be a little bit tricky as he backs up Asilian here, trying to bait him in on the Dupree ledge.
Yeah, this is what we were seeing from him yesterday on Nuke, and here should be no different. Trying to set himself up for those close kills with this sort of shotgun op mentality. Doesn't necessarily find the kill in that equation, but it is Asilian and S-Tag that are going to do a little bit of cleanup there. And now Simple, Electronic, and Flamey, the only 3 members left with over a minute left in the round. And, you know, Henry, that's not a good start at all.
So the reason they're doing that is, right, they know the defaults of Na'Vi. I cast a lot of Na'Vi. I know Edward and Zeus are always working towards those brown horses. One of their first objectives, right? They want to get that, push CTs back, and remove information. That's why we stacked 3 players towards that inside area at the very start to try and trade out frags there. They knew exactly how they played. You saw the bait and switch from the lower ramp, S-Tag peeking with that AWP, and now they're actually going to have a 5-on-2. Great shots. You can see the AWP. Why that scope is so beneficial, and at this point, it's a scrappy procedure just to try and get the bomb down. But look at the duo that still remains. It is Simple and Electronic, and they're not even going for the bomb plant at this stage. They're hitting every single shot. This is disastrous. It was looking so good. This was a 5-on-2, but you're against 2 of the hardest hitting players in CSGO right now. Freiburg will have to roll back the ears on this one. Can he clutch it out?
He does have this opening right here. He does find success onto Simple. It's not going to be Electronic left to defend this planted bomb here in the B-bomb site. He might have that angle. He does. He's going to go ahead and eliminate Freiburg from the round and put another one on the board for Natus Vincere.
This is what we were talking about with Na'Vi yesterday. They seem to be really finding their form in terms of individual players. This is actually Simple and Electronic left in a 5-on-2, as you can see at the start of that procedure, and they start hitting every single shot. There is a lot of panic there from the CTs. You can see the inexperience and the communication falling apart. The bomb wasn't planted, Trace. There is no reason to rush through smokes one by one like that and not play effectively. That's just a pure panic. Sure, great shots from Na'Vi, but why you're pushing with it, you've got that advantage. Why you have to feel like you've run through one by one to try and trade them out, I don't really know. Just a little bit of a panic there and a very key situation.
I mean, it's one thing to go and try to get the trade, and of course this is probably more of a throwaway round for Heroic, but it's one thing to try to get in there and get a trade, but then to do that at the expense of everything else you've got going defensively, that's not really what you want to do in that situation.
I feel like they just had such a successful start to the round. There's no doubt in their mind they're going to win it. They got 3 kills at the very start, fell back. Na'Vi commit towards in it starts to fall apart, and they just think, okay, well, we still got to win this, and then Simple, Electronic, and as I mentioned, some of the strongest aimers we have in CSGO are going to punish you if you expose yourself a little bit too much. 5-0 now on the T side of train. This is the sort of scoreline I expected from Na'Vi going into this tournament. I wanted to see big big wins from them. I want to see like 16-2s. Like, where is that? They should be able to blow some teams out the water here, especially seems to be together for 2 weeks. But Heroic, still early days here, just a little bit worrying. This is the CT side of train. I think we've got the AWP going towards the inside, bomb side there towards upper, and Edward quickly out towards the Olof position. Right, there it is. Hits that first shot. Going against that default again. Remember, it's always Zeus or Edward working there, and he punishes the first player there.
Now, in this situation, yes, the bomb does go down. Zeus does fall with it, and for what it's worth, Heroic hasn't quite realized that they can get in there and sort of close in on this and cordon it off within this upper hall area. And if they were to figure that out, it would bode disaster, basically, for Na'Vi. But in this case...
Have they got a player up, Pop Dog? If they do, that's fantastic. We'll see what happens here. Simple trying to recover the situation. Freiburg will be holding on now. Remember, 5-on-3 this time. They lost to 5-on-2 before, and Simple Electronic still alive and kicking.
Alive and kicking, that's right. They did bring life to the round last round for Natus Vincere. And in this round, Electronic is going to go ahead and get taken out there. So that does leave Flamey and Simple alive, trying to pull it back together one more time to keep this goose egg on the board for Heroic. These 4 members alive are going to prove to make it difficult. Flamey's going to go ahead and fall in the hands of that op. Simple with AWP himself, a man that you will probably fear in this situation. Let's see what he can do with it. As he sort of sets up there, I think he realizes there's probably a player coming down that ladder, and he's exactly correct. He's going to do a little bit of backtracking here. 20 seconds left on the clock. Not a whole lot he can do. It's not much of a chance here other than to just save this weaponry. So we're going to be seeing that in a first round on the board for Heroic here. They don't want to push out either. I mean, it hasn't necessarily been the most fruitful of rounds when they do those sort of things.
That's absolutely true, Trace. With 8 seconds remaining, we'll see whether Simple can hold on to the AWP. Their money is incredibly strong. They know they have a chance to actually reset the CTs here, but it will be a Cillian to recover the AWP. And finally, Heroic on the board. We won't see any big celebrations just yet. They want to start building up some momentum as we continue now. We saw the odds at the start of the game. You can see them actually creating an even larger gap now. Heroic at 5.4, Na'Vi 1.15, provided by GG.Bet, our esports bookmaker, as Na'Vi head into the next round. They won't be eco for a while. Did they bring the AWP out? We'll have a look. It is going to be in the hands of Simple. A very effective weapon on a map like Train. It's very AWP-centric, you usually say, because it's down to the snipers to find the opening picks that can ultimately win you the round of 1 kill at the start of a round.
Well, we talked about shotgun ops and what we can see from Mertz with it. I mean, Simple, he's proven time and time again he can do just that. He can get up close and make it uncomfortable for the other team. However, I do believe it's probably just a little early in the day for that sort of mentality to come out, and perhaps we'll see that little bit of flashiness as this round starts to develop. We're going to have 2 members set up there towards Ivy for Na'Vi. One holding towards that mid area. Mert's going to go ahead and throw that smoke to kind of keep them away. He does have that info, though. He did just see the sort of run boost that went down there. I don't think it was totally successful run boost, but someone did jump off someone's head, Henry.
As long as they get across and no damage is taken,
seems successful, yeah,
fine,
yeah.
You know? But the idea of the run boost is ultimately if you can jump them across without being spotted at all and potentially surprise someone on the other side, that's great. S-Tag might be baited in there. This is always a scary play to try and make your way up the Pop Dog here. We'll see if it yields any sort of fruits. Looks like he'll be backing off at this stage. 45 seconds remaining. Remember, Na'Vi, classic train team, love to play it nice and slow. Executions right at the end, get that bomb planted, make things chaotic as Flamey flashes towards main entrance to stop any close range presence. Blame F, though, in a perfect spot, presumably protected by S-Tag. For Pop Dog, he's got the AUG, but not for long. Flamey will take him down.
And good on Heroic right here for not giving up a lot of picks early in the round. They are forcing Na'Vi to try to play in this later round, and that's exactly where they're going to find themselves. 20 seconds left on the clock. 3 members of Heroic alive. Mertz, Cillian, and Freiburg, and that bomb will be going down at the hands of Edward. They're in the outside site. So now we're just going to be set up on the Na'Vi side to try to defend any sort of retake here. And I'm not sure that Heroic wants to commit to this project. It doesn't appear that they do. And they're probably just going to have to back off at this point and think about the weaponry going forward, because now the money is starting to get a little strange.
It really is, and that's why you have to save these 3 weapons. You're in double eco territory at this point, so save this. I assume at least one of these guys will go down, considering the position of Electronic. Freiburg will have to hit a hell of a shot, and he does get the dink, and that's the difference between the AK-47 and the M4A4. AK is always going to be the weapon of choice. If you can pick one up on the CT side, you have the potential to get those 1 taps as well. 5 players surviving for Na'Vi. Great awareness as well, especially towards that double stack in the Pop Dog room. We're coming to see that more and more, but it's obviously well known at this point. It was Blame F watching towards main entrance with the AUG, couldn't quite hit the shot, and Simple just had the premonition to actually look towards PopDog once again and get the repeat from S-Tag. Very cool stuff, and as you can see, Heroic really kind of slowing things down now, trying to work out what the problems are. They've got, two weapons up after losing Freiburg, one of which is the AWP. But at this point, I feel like you maybe need to put the pressure on Mertz and say, we need a pick here, bro. We need to actually go for something. Yeah. Maybe get some pistols out. Don't fully invest into it. But what can you bring to the table? Where do you think you can make a pick happen?
And the one weapon that we haven't really talked about too much in this matchup, and we did just get a glimpse of it there, that would be the bicep of Blame F. My goodness, that thing. That is move over, Pasha biceps. No, sir. It's Blame F biceps.
Safety always off.
Safety always off. Bigger than a 9mm. More like 120 millimeters.
Yeah, that is impressive, to say the least. Something we can all aspire to, Trace.
Yeah,
you and him work out the same gym, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just, I haven't been there in a while.
You just haven't been down there.
I've just been kind of busy.
Yeah, sure.
Postscriptum has. Anyway, moving forward, it does look like we're going to have a few pieces of weapon out here on the side of Heroic. Mainly just some SMGs and that off in the hands of Mertz. So there's definitely room for him to put some damage down range, but in this moment right now, nades are coming out and they're trying to hold on to this main connector as long as possible. The pop flash coming in, Freiburg sniffing out Flamey there with the ump and going for a second one. Can't seem to do it.
Always going to do it.
Oh wow. That, in all intents and purposes, should have worked, right?
For Simple doing it, they usually do, but this is perfect from Heroic. They knew they were up against the ropes this round. They had to bring something to the table. That's why they took the tactical timeout. I feel like Na'Vi maybe should have read that, the money being low. It's quite a common play, trying to push it towards main entrance of those SMGs or the inside lower ramp. One of their very slow passive defaults would have been perfect here, but caught off with a good flashbangs towards main entrance. It was Freiburg to get it done, and then backed up by Mertz and the AWP as they enter the 5-on-2. They've actually picked up a couple of AKs as well, so this is looking like a guaranteed round here and a perfect call. We'll see what happens as we develop into the situation with Simple and Zeus.
Yes, they're going to be looking for it now. Zeus is about to get caught off guard here. He has been found by Mertz. Mertz, just a matter of time before he pops him in the back. There's the kill. Now Simple with the AWP. 20 seconds. He can try to stay alive as long as possible and take that op into the next round. But in this moment, not much he can do here as we see a second one on the board for Heroic. And definitely a chance for them to start turning this ball back the other way downfield.
Well then, Simple will survive with the AWP. Mertz, 2 kills to his name. Heroic starting to come to life at this point, but it's going to take a lot more than this. Remember, they're on the CT side of Train. It's up there with Nuke in terms of being one of the most CT biased maps we have in the pool. We'll see if they can actually start bringing some more rounds onto the table. They're going to need at least 7 or 8 just to make this a convincing half. I mean, Na'Vi, the way they're performing today, it looks better in terms of teamwork. They discussed that communication was off, the fundamentals essentially. One problem I've had with them throughout this tournament, and maybe the last few as well, is just the trading aspect. It seems like they're so apprehensive to get into bomb sites. When they do, it's always clumsy and looks a little bit chaotic, but this looks much more calm today, I have to say, as we'll see Simple fending off another potential inside push here. It's actually a Cillian alone. Drops the smoke, just trying to buy some time here. And this is the default I was discussing before. Edward always goes for those brown holes. And Freiburg actually, once again, has control of main entrance. It costs him a smoke at the start, but slows down any fast aggression there from the T side.
Yeah, that team mid control right there from the CT side of Heroic is really proving to be a thorn in the side of Na'Vi. They can't get in there and get anything going, and I think Heroic must have realized that early on, that they were giving up way too much freedom right there for Simple to get out here with this AWP and pick down towards that Ivy side and maybe even traverse it towards the ladder should he find successes there in Ivy.
Oh, Freiburg.
Freiburg with the aim locks here.
Loves him. There's no crowd here. I'm not sure what he's hoping for with that one, but
yeah. Interesting.
Just showing us how aware he is, perhaps. But less than a minute remaining now. You can see the CT utility. That's the main problem at this point. 2 flashbangs remaining up against a pretty much fully equipped Na'Vi. They've got smokes, Molotovs, flashbangs here. They're going for the execution, and we'll see whether it is going to work out and make the CTs very uncomfortable.
They are starting to find that little bit of uncomfort, but so far they haven't found their way onto the bomb site until about now. Freiburg opening up the round, killing the Simple. That's going to prove to be a detriment later on, as Freiburg does eventually get taken out, but now Edward and Electronic, scratch that, it's just going to be Electronic. And a man that can do it, he might do it, but will he do it is the actual question out here. He is towards that E box, not to be confused with the Electronic box. He's going to find one onto Mertz, looking for that second one over in Disney, but there's there's really nothing for him to do in this one because, you know, the time really has slipped away from him.
He tried to do what he could, and he managed to cause a little bit of financial damage there. He saves the AWP and a nice array of utility as well. So not a perfect finish there for Electronic. He gets no extra cash, but he does bring over the AWP for Simple. I believe they can probably muster together one more purchase here. But this is Heroic at least on their feet now. They've had a rough start into this one. They lost the pistol and then couldn't really get going until round number 7 or so. We need to see a few in a row before we start believing they can do this. But it will be our last best of 3 before the grand final. Remember, North already waiting there. The winner of this game goes through to that next one, so I'm sure they'll be watching this and taking note. As we do have that buy for Na'Vi, there are a couple of compromises. Flamey with the Desert Eagle, but Simple still has the AWP, and Mertz, like we said, been impressive throughout this tournament. Really want to see that battle start to warm up as S-Tag still on the ladder. I'm interested to see how effective that is. Like, obviously, we all know there's no accuracy for the rifles on the ladder, but at that range, I guess it might not matter. And then that's exactly what I was expecting there. It seems like he's got some sort of mad technique going on as he gets 2 kills there. That's a very cheesy play in CS. You hate to see it, but you also love it as well.
What an absolute mad lad that guy is, as he does find that success there in the ladder room. Definitely a big turning point in the round here. 3 members alive for Na'Vi. And that's definitely not how they want to start the round with a minute left on the clock. And this is one of the first times we're starting to see that economy crumble on the side of Na'Vi. And well, I don't think that's really what's fallen apart for them here. But these unorthodox peaks off of ladder by S-Tag will definitely put a thorn in that side.
I thought maybe 1 kill would be fine. I didn't think it'd be so effective and get an instant headshot. It's a brave move to make, one that's not sustainable. You won't be seeing any other players like that be as successful. That's definitely a gamble, but maybe that's what they needed. Some luck on their side as it funnels Na'Vi towards the inner bomb site. S-Tag's going to go behind them, but look towards T-Spawn. There is a player actually coming through the halls as well. I believe that is Electronic. And Simple tries to recover the situation, actually swallows a grenade there, and that will force him towards outside, but not if it works again, I'm going to be sick.
Well, it just might, because he's going to catch one of them with the grenade out, and now all the bells have rung. He finds one Electronic, goes for the second, and this might just be the ace for Mr. S-Tag. The time has slipped away. Simple might want to slip away as well with this AWP, and he's going to try to do that. He doesn't want to give S-Tag that sort of vibe going into the next round, but he has done more than enough, finding 4 frags and shutting down any hopes that Na'Vi had in doing actually anything in that round, Henry.
Disgusting scenes. I have never seen anything like it. On the ladder, finding their headshots, and it didn't look like a problem whatsoever. I guess because the range is so close and you're essentially putting the barrel down their throats, it does seem to work. I've seen Oscar do similar things with the shotgun on the ladder. That makes more sense than the AK, but there we go. It will be Na'Vi with a tactical timeout now. Things starting to slow down for them. They had that really emphatic start, but it's suddenly dropping off at this point. But remember, they are on the T side of Train here. They are the favorites going into this one. They already have 6 rounds on the board. That's actually a pretty convincing half already. That's enough for them to win this game, but they obviously want to get as many as possible. The slow pace strategies not seeming to really pay dividends at this point. We maybe want to speed things up, go for some fakes here, maybe some instant executions off the bat. They have been shunned off inside a little bit. I think they've been rattled towards that area from the 3-man pushes we saw, and now they're not really focusing on that area as intensely as they were.
That's right. If you're just joining us, GG.Bet Ice Challenge here in London. Today we will be crowning a winner, and they'll be taking home 30,000 big ones. And in the meantime, we're going to be looking to send one of these teams on into that grand final. It's going to be Na'Vi and Heroic here.
Here he comes.
And Simple with the AWP, the rest of the team on pistol. He's going to try to get something going here early on. He's actually just going to be catching a lot of utility, and that's going to take him out of the fight early on in the round. Not a good start for Na'Vi. And now they simply stopped in their tracks, for lack of better wording. Flamey going to fall as well. And for what they could have hoped to have done in this round, it all has kind of fallen apart. Electronic trying to put something back on the board here for them, picking up Simple's fallen op. But in this moment, it might be too far gone, Henry.
I think it might be. We've seen a lot of these situations. There was a 5-on-2 that Electronic and Simple managed to pull off before, but this one doesn't even look possible. There is time on the board, but bomb down. Electronic is trying to find any sort of damage he can with the AWP. Is the procedure to save it once again, because they took a save here. You can see they're all hovering around $2,000, apart from Simple, who invested into this round, or perhaps saved the AWP from a previous. And we'll see if that's going to be taken to the next. The thing is, they've got a minute on the clock, so they'll have a little look around here as the CG spot him. That's going to be the AWP removal. move. Zeus will try and take that now and definitely go for the save. But Freiburg actually looks really on point today. Great aim and nice positioning as he looks very calm on the end as well. A player maybe forgotten about after NIP. We weren't sure where his career was going towards, and this Heroic project began, and now with the rebrand and stuff, it actually seems like it's quite promising, and the fact they have him as a veteran there to guide some of the inexperienced players, it seems like it's actually a nice overall package.
Well, I mean, as a role model, Freiburg has been that guy. You know,
Sure.
he can definitely be a good role model for these younger players, and hell, we even saw him on the desk at, I believe, at Malmo. I think.
No, it was an ESL event. It was potentially Katowice 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, he was definitely there for that.
Yeah.
Either way, will he show up in this round will be the question. They do have all the weaponry and utility that they need, and S-Tag's going to keep his dream alive, finding that first opening frag on the Flamey, and then, well, Freiburg says he wants to get involved too. So he takes down Electronic, leaving only Simple and Edward. And Simple takes down one. Might not be enough. Maybe that will help. 2 taps to the dome. Another kill there on to Blame, and now Asilian left as the only hope for Heroic in this round, and potentially a 7th on the board for Na'Vi. Simple is feeling it right now. Didn't feel that one, though. Asilian gets the better of him. And now with the bomb down outside, Asilian's going to go ahead and back off. Probably try to reposition himself so that he can find an advantageous approach no matter where it is that this bomb does get planted, but Edward might be walking right into the trap, and little does he know that Asilian's going to be finding him right there at the very tip top of the ladder. Edward about to be the lesser. Wow, that was an awkward exchange. No one really comes out on top there. A little bit of damage done, but ultimately Edward's now, with that information, going to be able to plant with relative ease. He was able to ward off any sort of immediate aggression with this Molotov. And now 1v1 here, and Asilian does it.
Asilian pulling it off. Those mind games are always very difficult, especially on a large map like Train. There's so many points of access to both bomb sites, so many narrow corridors and areas to exit the map, and we'll see Asilian come out on top. The bomb gets planted, but he manages to juke out his opponent in the 1v1. No brutal aim coming through from either opponent, but the spray down from the M4 will be enough. You can see Peacemaker calling for a timeout. And you'll normally see that after big clutches like that, when the heart's really racing, the adrenaline's pumping, you want to calm these boys down. I'm not sure whether you guys implemented that Cloud9 before, but when they win a huge round and you just want to make sure everyone's screaming and ripping their headsets off, you want to make it, okay, boys, just chill out. Everyone just subside and maybe just discuss the options now.
I mean, it's a sense of composure, right?
Yeah.
Like if it is a true turning point in a round or even a matchup where perhaps it could turn the tide and maybe uplift the spirits of one of these players or two of these players that aren't necessarily having the best of days, it can prove to be an effective tool. But honestly, for this one, this is such a back and forth affair at this point. Na'Vi already having found immediate success in this half. I mean, if any more rounds they put on the board, it's just going to make it even tougher for Heroic when they go to switch sides.
Well, they were 6-1 up, and now we're back to 6-6. Peacemaker there, you can see he's a very hard-working coach. I know he puts the hours in terms of the theory. He wants to prove he can create a lineup that has sustainability and has the potential to be a world-class team. He's got the knowledge. He has been in a lot of teams, and he has quite an infamous reputation in that regard, but he wants this to be his proper project. He wants to work with his team full-time and make sure he can take them to the top. And so far, so good. Remember, they've only been a lineup for now 2 weeks. 1 week boot camp is their first event, and they beat Na'Vi in the opening best of 3 of this tournament. That's great, but this is the one that really counts. Loser of this game goes home, winner goes to the grand final, and so far so good, actually, for Heroic. The fact they had a rough start, that happens to even the very best of CSGO teams. You can lose the pistol and have some financial troubles, but since the proper gun rounds have begun, Trace, they've actually looked convincing, and they're playing correct, methodical Counter-Strike with calculated aggression.
Maybe we can, you want to talk about calculations, maybe we can calculate up just a slow start, first match of the day. These are real things, and for now, it looks like Simple's going to find that first frag before he gets traded out by Freiburg.
Welcome to ICE 2019.
Yeah, welcome, guys. This is the GG.Bet Ice Challenge.
They said it for us.
Yeah, they absolutely did, and we're into the 4-on-4 here. That's actually well played by Freiburg. Counter-Strike essentially is all about trading. If you've got to be a successful team, you need to be working together. He's got the information. There's 2 players towards Ivy. He knows you won't win the round if they have a 5 versus 4. He tries to trade it back, but here's the reaction from Na'Vi, pushing towards inside, but the positioning from Asilian is absolutely idyllic as he gets them both. Can't find the third, but gives Freiburg a winnable situation here. He brings it down to the 1 versus 1, and now Electronic has to go clutch once again. Unsuccessful before against Asilian, but now has an advantage. He spots Freiburg there, and has the opportunity to get the bomb down, but Freiburg keeps delivering the pain with the org. That's fantastic by him.
Yeah, an outstanding play there. I mean, there was a real chance there for them to hold down that inner sight, but unfortunately, for as much as he was able to do on the boost, it was not enough. I mean, had he gotten that other one, I don't know. It's just really unfortunate how that turned out, Henry, because honestly, it looked like it was set up really, really well in their favor.
I thought Electronic, they're known to be one of the strongest aimers in Europe right now. The fact that he had that 1v1 against Freiburg at that range of low HP as well, you'd think he'd click his head right off. But the Orc, so good in those sort of scenarios. You get a little advantage with the scope going in there. A few body shots required. He had the positioning, and he wins the round. And Heroic have now taken the lead. If they can finish this 9-6, that would actually be them really riding high into that second half. They'll feel great for the comeback. Sure, the scoreline's not ideal, but they made a statement in these gun rounds. They look like the better squad here.
That's right, and if you look at the odds right now, they are all on par with each other. That's right, 1.8 over there at GG.Bet. And in this moment, we're seeing a rather one-sided bout coming into this round. It's going to be all pistols on the side of Na'Vi. 3 Deagles, 2 CZs. And then an all-AUG affair over there for Heroic. It's like Na'Vi realizes that they can be punished, and they have been punished time and time again from this ladder, and the sort of weird peak that S-Tac can take there to really push them back and make them conscious of what they're leaving open. And in this moment, they're about to walk into a real big crosshair here on the screen. You can see the crosshair the same as me, right, Henry?
I can see it all right.
Well, here they come. Set up now for the inside take. It's going to be a Cillian and Mertz to hold it off. Mertz with that op aimed on that upper side. Smoke's going to come out, and then, I guess in return, they're going to have to throw that Molotov to kind of push them back and keep them from running out. That thorn in the side does continue, but now they're going to full commit to the project. And Mertz is getting that first frag. Looking at it, the lineup is there for Cillian. He can only find one, but it doesn't matter because he's got a whole team in his back full of heroics, and they're going to do just that. Putting an 8th one on the board for them, and they're going to look to close out this half with potentially 9, but we're going to see the full-on commitment to buying everything. It is the last round of the half, so now Na'Vi have to kind of spend every little bit of dollar they have.
A very basic approach there from Na'Vi. You can see incredibly telegraphed as well. Cillian just waiting for the incendiary. If you drop the incendiary just before they go through and nothing happens, they all have to come through 7 seconds later. The round's over. You know where they're coming. You've got rotations there already. With 20 seconds remaining, it's going to be quite obvious. Final round, though, and indeed, Na'Vi, that great start. Mertz, 40 is going to push the flames there.
One and done.
Yeah, and see what he could do, but he thinks better of it, and I think that's the right choice. They've got full control in these gun rounds. They've looked like the better team, and that's something I've been saying about Heroic throughout this entire tournament. Their CT side's brilliant. They've done great rotations. They've had nice gamble stacks. They've gone for pushes. I've really been enjoying it. Now they've gone for a bit of a gamble here with a push towards Ivy and left the Cillian alone to his own devices, and we'll see if he can hold them off here. Good damage done with that lower ramp. He is going to find the first kill here. Can he find anything more? I would say trade it out here surely, and indeed Electronic will take him down. We'll see what's possible. A Simple has got a bit of a one-way here with the AWP, but a rare missed drop. He'll make up for it, but he's low HP. Will he be taken down here? Absolutely not. It's everything now, and Na'Vi need this last round, but a 3-on-2 is still a little bit tricky for them with low HP.
And that nade could have spelled disaster there. Flamey, Electronic, and Simple sitting on really low HP, but now Mertz with the AWP, tons of utility. He's going to get that shotgun out, and he does it to Electronic. So now the bomb is planted. That is ticking down ever so fast. He has a kit, but right now he's got a little bit more to worry about, and that's going to be getting out onto this bomb site. He is kind of pinched off in a pincer here, and it's going to be Flamey that does get the last frag of the half, closing it off. And a little bit closer of an affair, but all in all, a really successful half here for Na'Vi. And I'm really thinking, should they grab this pistol round, it could prove to be a pretty easy affair for them going forward.
I'm not sure about that. With Na'Vi's up and down performances throughout this tournament.
I made all that up.
Yeah, yes. Objectively, they do in the pistol and have a classic Na'Vi showing. They should be winning. But some of the disastrous affairs we've seen, all it takes is one clutch to go against them, and it seems like everything goes wrong for them very quickly. But saying that, Heroic, like I said, I've been impressed with their CT sides. It's their T sides where they really need to do most of their homework going forward. That's where it seems like they don't have the tactical depth, understandably so. They've had 2 weeks as a team to try and get 5-6 maps into the equation. It's very difficult. You can only have very basic approaches. Sure, everyone will know the smokes and stuff like that, but it's all about timings and synergy and being able to communicate as well. These guys actually communicate sometimes in English, Danish, obviously because You've got Freiburg on the end, who's
sometimes
Swede.
Swedish.
So yeah, whatever they feel like. It's mainly Danish. Apparently Freiburg can understand it, but if it gets a little bit chaotic, he'll have to chime in English. So they've definitely got some things they need to kind of implement and kind of structure going forward. But everyone's been impressed with what they've brought to this tournament so far. Like we said, Mertz, great tournament from him. Looks so confident now. Looks like he's been uncaged almost, and he's ready to show the world that he can be a world-class flashy AWPer.
Yeah, and Mertz, like you're saying, has definitely shown his value here in this tournament. This is a guy that's gotten in there and gotten his hands dirty, and sort of like we're going to be seeing here in this pistol round. S-Tag starting it off electronic, finding 2 big ones there to sort of push them back as it is. They're slowly dwindling down now. Edward coming in with the trades. It's all up to Freiburg, finding himself with the bomb. He's got to find 2 frags and plant it. Lovely major trophy there.
That is rolling back the years.
Yeah, it definitely is, isn't it?
Well then, Freiburg actually has been playing these clutches very well, and he has something to work with here. The fact he had PD50 and armor, a minute to play with. Unfortunately, Simple, just position god, it seems, will be watching these positions. Nice movement from Freiburg to at least give himself a fighting chance here. He has the one-tap potential. Simple objectively doesn't really want to challenge this, but what am I talking about? This guy's ready to frag at all times. He'll take the duel and more than likely win, as the P250 is pretty useless at this point. I would say book it towards that inside bomb site. Try and get the plant down. That's the best Freiburg can hope for at this point. If he gets the plant, in my eye, that's a win. But I've got an HE. It's going to be landing on the inside bomb site just as he's planting. There's no way it's going to land. It's definitely going to land, surely. Oh, it's not going to arrive in time.
Wow.
So there he gets. He actually gets the bomb down. That's as good as it was going to get with a 3 HP. Unless a miracle happens here for Freiburg, it should be a Na'Vi pickup here.
You want to roll back the years, and we're not going to be doing it today. Edward finding the final kill in the round and putting the pistol round on the board for Na'Vi, evening the scoreline up to 8-8. See a little bit of sigh of relief there. I think that was a sigh from Zeus. Can't really tell what he just did, actually.
It's difficult to read that, dude. Sometimes it looks stoic and calm, and other times it's a nightmare even when they win rounds. But one thing I want to point out now, there is an option to force fight in this second with the bomb plant and 3 kills coming in. It's a wild card option. That is if you really want to send a message out to your opposition and get in their heads. I would say right now, probably not worth. You can get the AKs out next, a strong buy, and maybe just get some PD50s here with the objective to get the bomb planted again. Most teams will go towards inside, one smoke or flash, try and trade out 1 kill, get that plant in. Or you could go for a couple of AKs now and some PD50s. I'm really intrigued as to what they do.
Some weaponry on the back there.
I think from the X-rays, we might have a couple of AKs. We do.
Yeah.
They've gone for it.
3 AKs and 2 Deagles here. Cillian electing to go with the Deagle and having nothing else on his person. And 3 AUGs over on the side of Na'Vi should make it a relatively long-ranged fight here. They will have that advantage. And in this moment, they're going to rely solely on Zeus holding that inside sight. He's going to take a little bit of damage there early on in the round, down to 73 HP. But he has done enough to push Heroic back from fully committing to this inside side. I like to think that perhaps Heroic gets that pick. They just say, hey, you know what, all in. Full on, all in on the table here, going inner. But now they've got to push back. They've got to kind of reconvene and re-strategize as to how they want to hit these this map and these bomb sites. Oh, you got to shoot there, Electronic. It's mouse 1. Oh, Lord.
It's not gone well for him. It's a difficult angle, though. And the range, even with the AUG, obviously you got a brown terrorist model kind of peeking around the corner with the jacket, so it all blends into the surroundings of the dumpster. But we'll see S-Tag now in the opening duels doing great work, 5 on 3. Zeus was holding the inside bomb site, rotates towards up. And we'll see Mertz actually suspect something afoot, but with 30 seconds remaining, it looks like Heroic and the force fight in the second round has been successful. Zeus flushed out of position, and they will be there to take him down as well. But Cillian gets tagged up. Zeus might be able to do this. He takes a lot of damage and trying to get out of here. Mertz can hear him retreating. 1 bullet will do it, even the wall bang, but not going to connect. And now Simple. Oh, easy kill. This is starting to fall apart a little bit for Heroic as they focus towards outside. Yeah,
that time already has dwindled down to a pivotal and sort of critical moment, and they're just going to get picked apart here as they kind of lapse in judgment and maybe just decision here is where they want to go. They don't really fully commit anywhere. They don't find that opening pick, so you don't see them fully flood onto that inner bomb site, and that bodes disaster here. So now we put another one on the board, and they're able to save some weaponry at the same time, which is definitely going to help their case. Now Heroic's definitely got to go back to the whiteboard and sort of draw it out and figure out how they want to move going forward. Sort of like these odds moving forward, Henry.
The odds are there. Heroic still the underdogs here. It's going to be Na'Vi of 1.26. So heavy favorites, but this scoreline, it really could go anywhere. That's a big pickup, though, for Na'Vi. It's not going to be the force buy from Heroic here. Desert Eagles coming out. You can see that one smoke, the one flashbang, as we discussed before. The objective here, sure, there's a chance to win the round with that saved AUG, but really it's going to try and get the bomb plant down, get the extra cash injection going forward as we go up against 4 AUGs on the CT side and an AK for Zeus. No AWP required yet. You can see the money incredibly low for Na'Vi. If they can cause some financial damage here, that would be great news for Heroic, as Zeus feeling confident to push towards inner here, not going for the full commitment though.
Well, of course, he does have Simple there to back him up. So if something does go awry, he can probably get one, maybe get out of there. But in this moment, they are playing against pistols, and perhaps they start to realize that these close angles are not going to go in their favor. And Flamey finding the first frag of the round. Now they're finding their way down the ladder. They're just going to continue to get flamed alive, which is pretty much how it went down. 3 frags in the round. He can't seem to lock in the 4th one. Freiburg finding that little bit of success in the frag there, but ultimately in the big picture, absolutely nothing. And we're probably going to be seeing a full-on buy here come from Heroic, and Mertz buying what he can. Not going to be with an AWP this round, I fear.
Let's see, rocky road now for Heroic. It's still a close game, but it feels like Na'Vi starting to pull in front. We'll see what they've got available to them. Na'Vi bring out the AWP for the first time, and Simple's got that great spawn towards up out. We saw Mertz play this before. It's the sort of shot Simple can hit every single time, but a lot of T sides will Molotov that position to stop this sort of push. You have to do it by default. There's the Molotov indeed, and AWPers will stick around, see if there is a commitment, but you have to throw that Molotov pretty much every round to deny that sort of play. Simple actually waiting for it to be extinguished, and now re-challenging it. You want to have the Brown Horse control. They haven't really done enough there. The Molotov alone is not enough to have control, but he does fall back, and it seems like Flamey wants to play heads-up Counter-Strike here as he gets towards Olaf, but he is flashed.
That was a real awkward exchange of affairs right there, but ultimately Asilian ends up taking him down. Left on 1 HP before he's eradicated by Electronic. Now it's going to be Mertz. He didn't come into this round with a weapon. He probably won't leave with one either. He's hurt. He has the Deagle. Almost finds enough damage there to take him out over there on the back of train towards Electronic, but ultimately nothing that can be done there from Heroic. Na'Vi putting another one on the board.
Yeah, this is very calm stuff from Na'Vi. Great start into this one. Remember, they were 6-1 up on their T side. Heroic starting to wake up though on their CT. They managed to split the difference at 8-7, but since they got on the CT side, it is Na'Vi looking incredibly comfortable. They lost that second round force buy, but managed to bounce back and find themselves at 11-8 up against some Tech 9s and CZs here. This will be an execution style play with the smokes there. I assume towards outside, the amount of smokes they purchased. They're going to execute towards inner. You don't actually need 4 smokes. You can do it with 2 quite easily. So I assume they'll go for the smokes outside, try and sneak a bomb there and try and push towards connector, for example. Go through the smokes as Zeus, once again, backed up by Simple, the AWP behind him, holds the off angle, the one you wouldn't expect him to hold, and he's got Simple watching toward that upper position. Just looking for that one pick. If they get it, they'll both fall back. They won't push any further. So just going to have full control of inner at this point.
That's right. Heroic took an L last round. They're looking to bounce back. And here with Zeus postured up really forward and Simple there to support him with the AWP on his egress out of the sight. It's going to be one of these situations where a little bit of a waiting game is going on. Heroic with these pistols know that if they get them in a close range fight, they have a much, much better chance. But should they have to fight them at the longer range, these rifles are going to prevail. And in this moment, they're just waiting for Na'Vi to perhaps slip up and perhaps show face here so they can take it off with the pistols that they purchased. A fleur-de-lis of grenades going down outside. It does look like they're going to commit towards that ladder. Again, with only pistols, it's going to prove to be a challenging affair, and now the call has been made. The bomb is in the site. And it's been planted. It's already success here, but Zeus set up in a smoke. This is going to be really awkward here in a second. He comes through E-Box, finds one, looks for the second. This all unfolds. Freiburg finding 2.
He's done a great job, 3 in total now with that Tech 9. The shot towards heaven as well. Tech 9 starting to become a little bit more relevant these days as Flamey will tap the bomb and bait out Freiburg here, looking for his 4th frag. Not going to happen. It looks like Na'Vi have done enough to maybe pull this one back. It's down to Mertz now, and he's in the worst position to try and play this post plant. But he has the advantage here. The fact they're not checking his position, he needs to go check this now before the 5 seconds comes in. Goes for it.
My.
Nice idea. Almost stuck the landing with that one, but they did get the plant down there and a few kills. Ideally wanted the win, of course, but it was just too much of a tricky spot for Mertz to really do damage there.
And, you know, I'm having flashbacks to a complexity lunatic high, Corey Tripp, Dodd sort of walk around, go underneath the train, wait for the defuse. Didn't necessarily happen that way. Never really unfolded in this matchup. In that matchup, that was really cool. You guys should go check it out some other time. Not during this tournament, of course.
Of course.
But 12-8 is the score line. Navi looking to walk away with this first map in this best of 3 and net themselves a grand final appearance here at the GG.Bet Ice Challenge in London. Today being the final day. One team going on into those grand finals trying to find themselves 30K. That's right, $30,000. And then here, at least with the money that Heroic have saved up, find themselves buying into this round. That bomb plant certainly helped them going forward. And with all the utility they have here, trying to find something to sort of open up a sight in their way. They haven't found much success in that regard. They've been kind of playing it passively, maybe a little bit more patiently, hoping that Navi slip up and show face here, but that's just simply not been the case as of yet. And in this round, it's not going to be that much different. Zeus there on his own in the inner sight this round, and could be finding him here very shortly, Henry.
We did say Heroic have been struggling on their T sides throughout this tournament, and with Navi looking comfortable financially and in the fragging department as well, I feel like they might be on cruise control at this point. But not finding the impact he had on the CT side with the AWP here when he's on the offense. 45 seconds remaining. There's a Molotov to push back any close-range CTs. But Flamey just standing outside. He'll be absolutely fine for now. 35 seconds coming in. 3 players towards Ivy. They're smoking off towards the left, and Simple's got a guaranteed kill here. It's almost too easy for him as they make their way out. There's so many kills coming in. You can see it's not even close. They're running out of time at this stage. There's almost no chance they'll do anything with this. The bomb goes down, and desperation kicks in. They're just trying to have to peek and see if there's anything available to them. But as you can see, Trace, there are a lot of holes in that particular play. 3 towards Ivy. The flashbang doesn't go anywhere near towards Simple's position. There's no smokes. There's no pressure from any other spots. They're just trying to walk out and get it done, and it's understandable they haven't had as much time to work on their strategies as they would have liked, but still gave it a go. Simple just had to point and click at that point, barely had to move the mouse, knew exactly what was going on. Yeah, definitely Heroic getting eaten alive here in the moment, which is rather unfortunate to watch it unfold in such a crucial round. You know, they elected to go full in on the buy process, and now we're going to see that tactical timeout come in on the side of Heroic. Peacemaker, the coach. Another member of this Heroic family that's trying to vindicate and prove himself. There's been a lot of criticism about him as well, you know, offline about his you know, moves around the scene and whatnot. And it does appear as though the second coming of Heroic here for him is proving to be okay. You know, given a little bit of time and giving him a little bit of a chance here, they might find that fruit. Hopefully so. Wish him all the best. I know he's hard-working and had some unfortunate situations, but we'll see if this is the team that can really find him some success in the future. Either way, round number 22, we are going to have Mertz on the UMP now. You can see with the loss bonus coming through, yeah, they can get a decent buy together, but they're not going to have the power of his AWP. But speaking of which, we've got quite a powerful man towards lower. He will be flashed off, tagged up as well. Do they want to commit and try and take him down? They do not, but they do have a little bit of intel, but the AWP is in towards inside. But most top AWPers, once they've been spotted, they will change position completely and try and catch you off. Yeah, they've got to displace after they take that first shot, and at least in this case, it does look like Heroic. They realized that they did put damage down on Simple. It was not going to be enough at all. And moreover, with the tide of the game right now heavily going in the favor of Navi, they definitely didn't want to find themselves in a position where they were giving up a frag or being caught out in the open. They don't know if there's a guy swinging from a different part of the train yard here in inner. But they're definitely going to be going back towards this inside site, and it's going to be Heroic here. This is a big round for them. Money situation not looking good. Full-on investment here and Simple setup. Perched up with his op. And he's on the hunt. Smoke coming out up top. Going to go ahead and block his vision. A little concealment there for S-Tag to try to push out into upper. Zeus will be there to support from lower, and the full hit is coming in now. He's going to walk right into the Molotov, and S-Tag's going to get the best of him. Simple finally coming alive in the round here, trying to push back this hit. Taking down Asilian, finding another one onto Mertz. Very quick flick there. It's going to be Blame and Freiberg to try to bring this one back, and Simple does it again. This guy is just unbelievably good. The movement, the aim, the awareness is just a full package there. He was low HP and he knew what he had to do there to avoid the bullets, get himself in advantageous positions. Really, really enjoyed that. That's just a perfect round from him. They lose the first pick. Heroic thought they're in there. They have a chance to get that bomb planted, maybe have a clutch post-plant situation, but no. Simple denies everything. Just look at this, the awareness, just to know he has time now. Even with low HP, that should be a deadly move, but he just knows players will be pushing down. That's the shot that wins the round for them. As Freiburg left in a 4 versus 1, he gets that one frag, but overall, Na'Vi homing in on victory here in map number 1.
Now, we're not sure if perhaps his teammates called the fact that they'd pushed all the way up the train yard, but there's definitely a chance that his situational awareness and just how much of a veteran he's become and grown into being the #1 player in the world, he was definitely aware that they had already pushed up that far. Yeah. And at least in this instance, it's going to be Heroic trying to push some action here on this Ivy side with Freiburg and Asilian all the way up on the other side of the smoke, trying to find one, can't even do that. Flamey finding them both instead. Now Heroic definitely against the wall. Backs there turned. And Simple finding Mertz is not going to help their case. S-Tag and Blame with AKs in this round, and what will put Na'Vi on map point of the first map here in this best of 3 series. Again, a best of 3 if you're joining us here in the audience today. Includes that you have to pick up 2 maps to the enemy's 1.
Just to note as well, Na'Vi did pick Train. We move on to Mirage next, which could be a little bit weaker for them. Heroic definitely can play Train, but I'm sure it's not one they've really focused on heavily with the little time they had. But this looks like Na'Vi homing in on a map point here. Great stuff. This is the Na'Vi we expected to see come into this tournament. They actually look quite strong today. This is actually a 5-man effort. They've got the shots coming in. The clutches are working in their favor. The riflers are turning up. Simple's hitting his shots. They're not panicking. They're actually being quite assertive. They haven't lost any rounds due to the timer. It's actually looking very good indeed. Edward will burn Blame out alive with some follow-up bullets as well. S-Tag, he might be able to get a couple of kills here at this point, but it's all for naught. Bomb gets dropped. No plant coming in, and it's 15-8, which pretty much guarantees the victory here for Na'Vi in map number 1. Now remember, Trace, we've had every series in this tournament so far go to 3 maps. We haven't had any with a 2-0. So for us, let's see if this is going to be a bounce back on Mirage for Heroic, whether they can do it. We will see with the tactical wars coming in. And for now, options very limited. I'm not really sure what kind of speed you can give the boys at this point. I would try and maybe be realistic and say, well, let's do all we can here. Let's get warmed up for the next map. Like, yes, everyone can say it's never over until it's over, but this sort of situation is almost irreparable.
Speaking of warm-ups, I mean, for this Na'Vi lineup we hold in such high regard, for them to come in here and find these struggles, I'm really hoping that they can go back to the drawing board after all is said and done here, the GG.Bet Ice Challenge, and sort of, I guess, have a wake-up call to see that, like, hey, you know, what we're doing right here, rather we're not, you know, giving it what we need to, what attention we need to, where we need to. It's definitely a wake-up call for this Na'Vi side. Of course, the odds are heavily tipped in the favor right now, and it does make sense as Na'Vi sit on map point. Heroic buying just about everything they can here and hoping they don't run into Simple with this AWP. Inner push here, Flamey with the P90, doesn't give a damn and finds 2. Mertz is going to take him down, but the reply by Zeus is definitely going to help the case here. Freiburg left all on his lonesome, and that, my friends, is just about all she wrote here.
Yeah, the disrespect as well. The P90 play, rush inside. I do enjoy that a lot. It does really set the tone for how this map has gone for them. Heroic, a decent comeback on the CT side, but their T side, as predicted coming into this one, really had nothing to work with there. And it's understandable. It's not that we're saying they're a bad team. It's just haven't had enough time really to work on this and be ready for a powerhouse like Na'Vi on their day who could be unstoppable when they get in the zone. If they win a pistol, they get some money together, and the rifles are clutching, the AWPs are hitting, and the coordinated pushes look strong, then you've got a bit of trouble here. Just going through the formality at this point. One more round will do it to end this one. Freiburg will just be padding stats at this stage. It won't be any chance he can win this. And Freiburg types, please, mercy.
Please, mercy. Yep, they didn't go for the knife, so I guess that's about as much mercy as he's going to get. Heroic drop map 1 here. Na'Vi pick up Train, and that does leave the stage open for the second map here, Henry. And, you know, I really think we have to attribute that map to the Na'Vi side, basically on the backs of what was a tremendously successful first half.
Absolutely. The fact they get the 6-1 start on Train is just the nightmare start for any CT side, especially if you're the team like Heroic, who are considered the underdog here. You're the ones that need the luck on your side. You need those good starts to even get inside the heads of Na'Vi, which can be a useful tool going forward. But you can see the temperament now of Na'Vi. They look much happier. They're saying to themselves, I can even read the body language. They're saying, that's how we should be playing. That's how it should be going. And now we actually look like the team everyone knows and love, and why we're considered one of the world's best. That is the squad we want to see. These guys are looking much better now, and hopefully they can maintain that performance, because we want to see them win the tournament. Like, that might sound biased, but I want to see these guys be in the conversation to win the major. They're a team built of superstars, and we want to see them do great stuff here. But Heroic, it is their map pick next, and that's what we have to remember. That's why I made that point of no game or series, as I said, this tournament has gone 2 maps. So will the curse be lifted this particular series? We will see. It's an exciting one, I hope. Maybe Heroic a bit more of a fight on Mirage. It is going to be their pick, and we'll see what happens just after this break.